Hi students, welcome to today's class. Today's chemistry class, I'm going to explain you about the Gibbs phase rule. Already previous sessions we have explained about the one component system, two component system. And in this class, I'm going to explain you about the compounds with congruent melting points, that is magnesium and zinc system. So Gibbs phase rule, it was stated by Josiah Willard Gibbs in 1870. It is a fundamental rule. In 1874, it was explained, and the fundamental rule on which the phase diagrams are all based. F is equal to 2 minus pi plus C, where pi is the number of phases present in the equilibrium. Phases means you have the solid phase, you have the liquid phase, gaseous phase, etc. F is the number of degrees of freedom or the independent variables taken from temperature, pressure, composition of the phases present. And C is the chemical components. So degrees of freedom, it is given by F. P, pi is nothing but P, the phases of the matter. Every component will be in some of the other phase. That phases is denoted by pi P. And C is the number of components of that system. In this Gibbs phase rule, we have seen the three terms. As I told you, degrees of freedom, it is the number of the external variables that can be changed independently without disturbing the number of phases in the equilibrium. These are nothing but pressure, temperature, and composition. So independent variables are degrees of freedom: pressure, temperature, and composition. Only these three come under the degrees of freedom for Gibbs phase rule. So when you change the pressure independently, even here it will not disturb the equilibrium of the phases. Solid is in equilibrium with the liquid in equilibrium with the gas. So this equilibrium will not be disturbed even if you change the pressure. That is a degree of freedom. Similarly, if you change the temperature, the pressure will not vary, the composition will not vary, the equilibrium will not get disturbed. Even the equilibrium is not going to get disturbed. And for the phases, it will not get disturbed. That is the degrees of freedom. Now, component, a chemically independent constituent of a system. See, everything is independent here. The degrees of freedom, even there are the independent variables. Component is also independent constituent. So the number of components, the minimum number of independent species to define the composition of the phase in the system. System is the one which is under the study is called the system. Number of components, minimum number of independent species necessary to define the composition of all the phases present in the system is nothing but number of components. I gave you an example of water system, one component system. The water, the solid ice, it's solid. It is in equilibrium with the liquid water. The phase is liquid. Again, that is in equilibrium with the water vapor, gaseous state. All these are phases which are in equilibrium. But the chemical formula is the same, H2O. So therefore, the number of components is only one. Only the formula is H2O. So it is one. For similarly, sulfur system, you see monoclinic sulfur, rhombic sulfur, liquid sulfur, vapor sulfur, all these, the formula is the same. So the number of components is only one. So that is the actual meaning of the number of components. Now coming to the phase, a state of matter that is uniform throughout chemical composition and physical state is called phase. Okay, now we have seen the components. In explaining those components, I gave you the example of the water system. In that water system, solid ice, equilibrium with the liquid, is in equilibrium with the liquid water. Again, that is in equilibrium with the water vapor, gaseous state. So these three are nothing but three phases. One is the solid phase, one is the liquid phase, and one is the gaseous phase. Okay, a state of matter that is uniform throughout the chemical composition and the physical state. A state of matter that is uniform throughout chemical composition and physical state is called phase. Degrees of freedom, I told you now. The freedom, you'll have invariant system, univariant system, monovariant system, divariant system, trivariant system. What are those? We'll see. Degrees of freedom. The independent variables are nothing but the degrees of freedom. So independent variables, temperature, pressure. The number of independent variables such as temperature, pressure, concentration. These are specified in order to define a system. At what temperature, at what pressure, at what composition. So all these are the degrees of freedom. If F is equal to 0, system, it is invariant system. I took a one component system. In that one component system also, I took one component system. In one component system, you are having both invariant system, you can see monovariant system, you can see divariant system, and you can see even the trivariant system. So invariant system, see triple point, invariant system, all of them are in equilibrium and F will be equal to 0. There you get invariant system. Again, in the areas you are getting univariant system, F is equal to 1. And in the curves, you are able to see F is equal to bivariant system. Okay. Again, sometimes you get even the trivariant system. So what we tell is degrees of freedom you're getting. So for one component system, or for two component system, or for three component system, whatever may be. In one component system, you may get three types of systems. One is invariant system. For one component system, you will be getting F is equal to 0. You will also get F is equal to 1. You will also get F is equal to 2. Okay. In that way, you get three different conditions of F, degrees of freedom. At triple point of water invariant system we got. At on the curves you got 2 bivariant system. On the areas we got univariant system. Okay, so this is degrees of freedom. Again, F is of different 0, 1, 2, 3. Now we'll see what is the number of components. As again I have explained you, we'll see on the slide. It is the smallest number of constituents by which the composition of each phase in the system at equilibrium expressed in a form of chemical formula or equation. Ice, water, water vapor, all these are three phase system. One component system, but three phases. Solid phase, liquid phase, gaseous phase. Number of component is only one. Formula is water, H2O. Okay, so this is the formula or the equations is nothing but the component of a system. A mixture of water and salt is a two component system. Salt is one formula, water is another formula. So it is two component system. Since both chemical species are independent and different, since both chemical species are a mixture of salt and water is two component system. Here chemical species are independent and different. Here this is independent on this. Okay, salt and water, both of them two components. Both these chemical species, they don't depend on one another. So they are the two different chemicals. That is the number of components in a system. Phases. A phase is defined as an homogeneous, physically distinct, mechanically separable portion. Physically distinct, mechanically separable portion. it is separated by other parts of the system. It is having perfect boundaries, ice, water, water vapor. So gaseous mixture being thoroughly miscible in all portions will constitute one phase only. Thus, a mixture of N2 and H2 forms only one phase because they are homogeneous mixtures. If two liquids immiscible, benzene and water, two separate phases. They are liquid phases only, but two separate phases. Okay, if they are completely miscible, then that is one phase. If they are not miscible, you will have separate phases. If two liquids miscible, then that is homogeneous mixture. You get one liquid phase. Now phase rule. Number of phases is given by P. Okay, gaseous mixture, it is single phase. If liquid is having one or two or three phases, if two miscible liquids, miscibility is there, single phase. If there is no miscibility, solid plus liquid, it is two phases. Again, you take a solid. See how is the different phases. In a gaseous mixture, completely miscible and they are single phase. Liquid, if two or three phases, totally miscible, single phase. Okay, if it is not miscible, slurry of ice and water, two phases. Here slurry is nothing but it is somewhat like solid, and water, it is liquid, two phases you can see. So these are the different phases for the liquid. In the solid you see a crystal, it's a single phase. Alloy, two metals, two phases, they are immiscible. If it is immiscible, then you call it as two phases. Two metals, immiscible, two phases. One phase, then that is miscible. Next, phase rule. Gibbs phase rule. F is equal to C minus P plus 2. So, F is equal to C minus P plus 2. F is the degrees of freedom. This is the phase rule. C is equal to number of components. P is the number of phases. And 2, it's nothing but independent variables you are getting. Temperature and pressure, two variables. Now, what is a phase diagram? Phase diagram shows the regions of the pressure and temperature at which its various phases are thermodynamically stable. See, in this phase diagram, every system we can show the phase diagram. So it shows the regions of pressure versus temperature, x-axis and y-axis, at which various phases are thermodynamically stable. Again, phase boundary. This boundary, it's between the regions will be having the lines, the curves, shows the values of pressure and temperature at which two phases coexist in equilibrium. They coexist in the equilibrium. Next, advantages of the phase rule. Advantages of the phase rule, if you go. Phase rule, it is applicable to both chemical and physical equilibrium. What are the advantages of the phase rule? It can be applied for the chemical and the physical equilibrium. It is applicable to the macroscopic system and hence no information is required regarding molecule or the microstructure. We can conveniently classify equilibrium states in the phases and as well the components and the degrees of freedom. The behavior of the system can be predicted under different conditions. So, temperature conditions, pressure conditions, in that way, the behavior of the system can be predicted for the different conditions. So, another advantage is how, according to phase rule, different systems, they behave same for the same degrees of freedom. According to phase rule, for different systems behave similarly if they have the same degrees of freedom. How it is done, how it is, can be explained using the phase rule. It helps in deciding the given set of conditions, that is, existence of the equilibrium between what is the equilibrium for various substances and interconvergence of the substance. How it is changing the substance from one phase to another phase. can be explained. Disappearance of some of the substances can also be. So these are the advantages: chemical physical equilibrium, macroscopic systems. Okay, classify equilibrium states in terms of phases. Behavior of systems can be done how for different conditions, can be predicted. According to phase rule, different systems behave similarly if they have same degrees of freedom. Phase rule, it helps in understanding the equilibrium, interconvergence of substance, and disappearance of the substance can be explained. Okay, so these are the advantages. So phase rule we have seen, the phase diagram we have seen the advantages, and we have seen the, well, we'll see the limitations. Phase rule, it is applicable only for those systems that are in equilibrium. If it is having no equilibrium, the phase rule cannot be explained. If it is not having any equilibrium, the phase rule is not applicable. And if the system, it is getting a slow attainment of the equilibrium, even for that we can't explain. And only 3 degrees of freedom, that is temperature, pressure components, are allowed to influence the equilibrium systems. Only 3 degrees of freedom, that is only temperature, pressure, and the composition of the components, are allowed in this equilibrium system. So remaining degrees of freedom are not taken into the consideration. Under the same conditions of the temperature and pressure, all phases of the system must be present. If it considers only the number of phases rather than the amount, okay, it's not considering the amounts. These are the limitations. Now, so limitations we have seen. Now we'll see system with congruent melting points. What is the system with the congruent melting points? Previously we have divided, I have explained you the division in the previous session. So there you can see the congruent system and 2 component system, phase equilibrium with 2 component system. So solid liquid equilibria is explained. Solid liquid equilibria is explained. And in that solid liquid equilibria, I have told you 2 components completely miscible, 2 components partially miscible, again 2 components immiscible. All these were explained. And now we are in this class, I'm going to explain you about the congruent melting system. Now we'll see what is a congruent melting system. So in the congruent melting system, what is a congruent melting system? A compound which melts sharply at constant temperature into liquid of the same composition as a solid is said to possess a congruent melting system. So congruent melting system is nothing but, here, during congruent melting system, a compound which melts sharply at constant temperature into liquid with the same composition are known as, it's nothing but the congruent melting system. During melting of the component, when the composition of the liquid that forms is the same as the composition of the solid, it can be contrasted to the incongruent melting. Okay, so here congruent melting means which occurs during melting of the component when composition of the liquid that forms is same as the composition of the solid. See, I'm giving you the clear-cut explanation. A compound which melts sharply, a compound which melts sharply at constant temperature into the liquid of the same composition as that of solid. Okay, so which melts sharply, a compound which melts sharply at constant temperature into liquid of the same composition as that of its solid. Previously it is in the solid state and it is melting sharply at constant temperature into its liquid of the same composition as that of the solid is said to possess congruent melting point. If it doesn't melt at constant temperature with the same composition, then that is incongruent melting. That is incongruent melting. If it doesn't melt at constant temperature with same composition, then that is incongruent melting. Now, a binary system is said to possess congruent melting point when it melts at sharp temperature to give liquid of same composition of that solid. It's nothing but congruent melting system. Now, this generally you can say in the two component system. Example, we'll take zinc and the magnesium system. In the zinc and the magnesium system, you see here, it is a typical two component system. It is the typical two component system. Okay. It involves the formation of intermetallic compound Mg plus MgZn2. Okay, so it is a typical two component system. It involves the formation of intermetallic compound, that is MgZn2. It is having two phases. Let me show you in this diagram. One is the solid Mg. Solid magnesium you will be getting. Okay. And the other one is a solid zinc, solid magnesium, solid MgZn2. Okay. Now another one is the molten mixture of magnesium and zinc. Molten mixture of the magnesium and zinc. Okay. Understanding now everybody? One is the zinc, one is MgZn2, the other one is the magnesium, and the other last one is a complete melt of magnesium and zinc. Understanding now? Here, this two component system with intermetallic component you are having, and it has four phases. I'm showing you in the diagram. You are having solid zinc you will be getting. Again, solid zinc, here liquid metal is there. Magnesium Zn, intermetallic component, plus liquid melt. Okay, this is second one. And the third one is magnesium plus liquid melt. The third one is the magnesium plus liquid melt. Okay, so this is the complete zinc. This is the third phase. And the fourth one is complete melt, pure melt you are having. This pure melt is nothing but Zn plus Mg. Zn plus Mg. Okay, so this is the diagram. Now each curve I'm going to explain you. First, zinc magnesium system, it is two component system having congruent melting system. In this system, zinc and magnesium, it melts at 490 degrees. 490 degrees and 650 degrees centigrade. Okay, zinc at 490, magnesium at 650. Now, both melts enter into chemical composition and form intermetallic compound. I showed you MgZn2 and melts at 590 degrees to give liquid of the same composition. And 590 degrees is the congruent melting point of the system. 590 degrees is the point of the congruent melting system here. Next, it is in this reduced form, the system has four phases as I have shown you previously. Solid magnesium, solid zinc, solid MgZn2, liquid Zn plus Mg. I showed you the four curves. Now in detail, I'll explain those curves also. Okay, so areas I have shown you. One is a solid Mg plus melt. The other one is solid zinc plus melt. And the next one is solid Zn2, intermetallic compound. And above you're having the liquid solution, the total melt of the zinc and the magnesium. Now we'll see. Applying the reduced phase rule here. Previously F is equal to C minus P plus 2. But for reduced system, you know, one component system, two-dimensional. It is two-dimensional. For two component system, it is three-dimensional. The three-dimensional pressure, temperature, composition. Pressure is kept constant. Okay, pressure is reduced. One system it is reduced. So plus 2 has become plus 1. Plus 2 has become plus 1. This is the rule. For better understanding, go through the previous session also. Okay. So the reduced two component system, reduced phase rule is explained. So today's class again I'm going to explain you about the zinc and the magnesium system. So zinc and magnesium system, you are having four phases. Solid magnesium. Previously I told you solid magnesium, solid zinc, solid MgZn2, molten mixture of the magnesium and zinc. Now applying the reduced phase rule, F is equal to C minus P plus 1. Here components. So applying the reduced phase rule, you are having two phases. So even if it's a homogeneous mixture, 1 minus 2 plus 1, something but 0. So therefore at the point D, non-variant system. At point D, if you see, you get non-variant system. This is the liquid congruent melting point. At this point, totally homogeneous mixture, it is invariant system. I'm repeating. Today's class will see at the zinc and magnesium system I told you. First, seeing this diagram, actually four phases will exist. I told you this is one area, this is one area, zinc area, solid zinc, solid magnesium, MgZn2 and liquid melt. Now, first thing we'll see, applying at the main point, liquid congruent melting point, that is D. At this point, all of them are homogeneous mixtures. All are homogeneous. It's completely miscible, everything, all are in equilibrium. So the composition, you can take it as 1. Homogeneous mixture, it's 1. So F is equal to C minus P plus 1. C is equal to 1. C is equal to 1. Composition is 1. And minus 2 phases. Okay. So composition is only 1. The phases are 2 plus 1. C is 1 minus 2 plus 1. It is equal to 0. Therefore, at point D constitutes non-variant system. F is non-variant system. Now point E we'll see. Here it is the point E. Later on I will explain you about the curves and the areas. Now only the points first and foremost I'm telling you at the point. D point is over. Now at D point, at E point we'll see. Eutectic point you call it. So you call it as a eutectic point. So a liquid mixture that exists at the eutectic point is the eutectic mixture. So the point E represents the eutectic point of the system at temperature 340 here. Almost you'll be having 345. E, eutectic point, eutectic mixture, 345 degrees centigrade. This is the least melting point of Mg plus Zn2. This is the least melting point. Below this, you'll not have a least melting point of the Mg and Zn2 system. Here also you are having three phases existing in the equilibrium. At this point, you are having three phases existing in the equilibrium. You are having solid magnesium, solid MgZn2 plus liquid Zn2, liquid MgZn2. Here at this point, you are having Mg. At this point, you are having this point. See this. You see, at this point, you are having solid Mg. You are having solid MgZn2 and liquid MgZn2. You are having this solid part will be there, liquid part will be there, and solid magnesium is there. So there are three phases in this equilibrium point A. Okay, that is a eutectic picture. Now we'll calculate the degrees of freedom. F for the reduced, you'll see F is equal to C minus P plus 1. So here you're having zinc and magnesium. Components 2 are there. Different phases 3 and components will be having 2. Solid magnesium is there and even the zinc melt is also there. So components you're having 2. At point D, completely miscible, only one component you can see there. A miscible solids will be there, zinc and magnesium. So there you can see C as 1, but here C will be 2. 3 different phases you're having. Solid magnesium, liquid liquid Mg plus MgZn2, again solid MgZn2. Okay, so total Mg plus MgZn2, again MgZn2 solid. So solid magnesium, solid MgZn2 intermetallic compound, and liquid MgZn2 intermetallic compound. Therefore 3 phases. C is 2, P is 3. 2 minus 3 plus 1, it is 0. When this point is the invariant system. Now point C will say, first I am discussing about the points. So point D is over, point E is over. Now we'll see point C. So even that is a eutectic point. This point 380 degrees. So E is very minimum temperature. So this point represents 380 degrees here. C point 380 degrees, which is least melting point of Zn and MgZn2. Here at this point you are having Zn and MgZn2. At this point you are having MgZn2. At this point you are having zinc plus Mg and Zn2 system. Again you are having 3 phases. Here only one phase, only one chemical. At this point E, you are having 3 phases. Solid magnesium, intermetallic compound MgZn2 solid, intermetallic compound MgZn2 liquid. 3 phases. Coming to this point, quite reverse. You are having zinc solid plus MgZn2 solid as well as liquid form. So 3 phases. So F is equal to C minus P plus 1. 2 chemical components, 3 phases, same like E point even C. But here it is magnesium solid, here it is zinc solid. So the system is 0, the non-variant system. Okay, at point D, at point E, at point C, invariant systems. Now we'll see the areas. Then we'll see for the curves. Coming to the areas of the zinc and magnesium, the area above the curve BCDEA, the area above the curve BCDEA, you're having complete melt. This is completely liquid of the zinc and magnesium. Single phase homogeneous liquid is there. Zinc plus magnesium homogeneous liquid is there. 2 chemicals but only one phase. So F is equal to C minus P plus 1. C is Mg plus Zn2. Phase is only 1, homogeneous mixture. 2 minus 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. Fc, it is equal to C, chemical components. Components you are having 2, magnesium and zinc. Phase is 1, homogeneous mixture. So 2 minus 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. Therefore, at the curve above BCDEA, it is bivariant system. Now we'll take other curves of the zinc magnesium system. Even they are all univariate. Previous sessions, if you see, you'll understand more better. So similarly, everywhere for the 1 component system you take, for 2 component system you take, congruent melting point system you take. Okay, so a lead and magnesium system you take. So in the lead and magnesium system also, you are having in the same fashion condensate system also. That is a condensate system. In there also you are having the same. Curves are bivariant. Curves are bivariant. Areas are univariant. points are invariant. Blindly you can remember at the points, but how we are calculating is at the points you are having invariant system. At the curves you will be having bivariant system. In the areas you are having univariant system. Now I calculated for this area. So the areas, we have the area above this one. The area above B, C, D, E, A. It is calculated as bivariant system. Okay. Now above the curves, above the see here, the area above B, C, D, E, total system. It is calculated, the system is as the bivariant system. The area above B, C, D, E, A. It is single phase and it is calculated to be bivariant. And in the areas Zn magnesium, it consists of two phases and it is calculated to be univariant system. In the points you have got, in the point we have got it as an invariant system. Point, that is D point, invariant system. E point, invariant system. C point, invariant system. And area above BCDEA, area above BCDEA, we have got it as bivariant system. And other areas of zinc and magnesium, it has only two phases. Here you say zinc and liquid melt, solid, liquid, two phases. It is calculated to be univariant system. And here also zinc MgZn2. Here the solid and the liquid melt, it is calculated as the, in this, see, this complete liquid melt, it is calculated as the bivariant system. In this area, zinc plus liquid melt, two phases are there, and F is calculated to be univariant. And in this one also, Mg solid plus liquid melt, the F is calculated to be univariant system. And here also in the next area, Mg and the liquid melt, Mg and for the liquid melt, here Zn liquid melt, two phases, univariant. Mg Zn2 solid plus liquid melt. You have got two phases and it is calculated to be univariant. Again, Mg plus liquid melt, if you calculate, again you will be getting univariant. You are having total of 4 areas, 4 phases. First diagram, starting I told you, four areas. Okay, 1, 2, 3 and 4. This area bivariant system. This area zinc plus liquid melt, solid Mg Zn2 plus liquid melt, Mg plus liquid melt. You are getting as univariant system. Okay, this whole area bivariant system. And these 3 areas you are getting univariant system. Therefore, at points you are getting invariant system. So I hope you are clear till now. On calculating with the reduced phase rule, at a point D, E, C, invariant system. You take tick points, you are having invariant system. And 4 areas, melt area, second area, third area and fourth area. Solid plus liquid. This melt area you got bivariant system. And zinc plus liquid melt area, you will get, not it calculated, you will get as univariant system. Solid Mg Zn2 plus liquid melt, again univariant system. Mg plus liquid melt, again you'll get univariant system. Now we'll see the total curves. The curves, how we are getting, we'll see. Here, curve BC, that is the freezing curve of zinc. BC is the freezing curve of zinc. There you are having zinc melt, zinc and the melt, zinc and the melt. Melt is nothing but MgZn2, intermetallic compound. Okay, how many phases? 2 phases, univariant, calculated as univariant. Okay, so total this area bivariant, points invariant, and the curves univariant. Now, this curve, we'll see this curve. Okay, already I explained you previously. Again, I'm repeating. This whole area, bivariant system I got, point invariant system I got. Now these are univariant, I told you. Now we'll see, calculating we'll see. Now first curve BC will take, freezing curve of zinc. Their zinc and liquid is there, zinc solid plus liquid melt. So you are having two phases, two chemical components, and on calculation you'll get univariant system. Again, AE curve, AE curve will take. There, you're having Mg plus, Mg solid plus liquid melt. Zinc solid plus liquid melt you got. It is calculated a univariant system. And now AE curve, you're having Mg solid plus liquid melt. Okay, here it's a printing mistake. This is the typing mistake. This one contains Mg and MgZn2. Number of phases are 2. Chemical components are 2. And the system is univariant. F is equal to C minus P plus 1. Calculating that one, you'll get it. You calculate it, let's see. Okay, here chemical components 2, phases 2. Okay, F is equal to C minus P plus 1. Okay, on calculation you'll be getting. Now here also similarly, you will be getting number of phases 2. Okay, total uniform composition 1, 1 minus 1. Okay, so here C, here phases are 2, 1 minus 2 plus 1. Okay, so again I'm repeating, chemical composition 2, components are 2. Again phases are 2 plus 1. How much will be getting? 2 minus 2 plus 1. 1 univariant system. F is equal to C minus P plus 1. C is 2, P is 2. So here again the same. BC curve. F is equal to C minus P plus 1. C is 2, P is 2. Plus 2 minus 2 gets cancelled, only one univariant system. Again AE curve, Mg plus liquid melt. Mg is one chemical. In the liquid melt you are having zinc, and solid plus liquid you are having two phases. Okay, 2 minus 2 plus 1. So F is equal to 1, univariant system. Now curve CD curve, Mg Zn2 and melt. It contains Mg and Mg Zn2. Again the same, two phases, two chemicals, univariant you'll get, CD. Now DE curve, here you are having Mg Zn2, here also you are having Mg Zn2 melt plus zinc solid. Here zinc solid, here you are getting magnesium solid. Okay, so magnesium solid, it contains the CD curve, and here now DE curve. So zinc solid plus Mg Zn2 melt, two chemicals, two components, two phases, univariant system. On all the curves you'll be getting univariant system, and this area you'll be getting bivariant system, points invariant system. Now the last one we'll see, CDE. CDE. In the CD you are having Mg Zn2 and the melt, Mg Zn2 solid and melt. So you are getting 2. Again 2 chemicals, univariant system, even this area. Now coming to the areas, we'll take area, above area, B, C, D, E, A, above area I told you. It is completely the melt of zinc, magnesium and Mg Zn2. So F is equal to C minus P plus 1. F is equal to C minus P plus 1. You are having a uniform mixture, chemical only 1. Okay, so number of phases is 1. Okay, 1 minus 1. Here, the chemical here, zinc and magnesium. Components 2. 2 and the phase is 1. 2 minus 1 plus 1. Okay, 2 minus 1 plus 1. Bivariant system. 2 minus 1, 1. 1 plus 1, 2. Bivariant system you are getting. So this area bivariant system, these curves univariant system, points invariant system. I hope you have understood clearly. Now, area BCF, zinc melt, zinc plus melt, zinc plus melt. I explained you, but I'm giving the overall review again. Zinc, this area, zinc plus MgZn2. Phases are 2, you'll get univariant system. Again this area DCG area also. MgZn2 plus melt you are containing. 2 phases you are having, you'll get univariant system. Again DEH. Again in this area also, you are having a magnesium melt, magnesium plus MgZn2. You are having 2 phases, 2 chemicals, univariant system. Now coming to the next AEI area. Even in this AEI area, Mg and melt you are having. Mg and the melt you are having. 2 phases, 2 chemicals, univariant system. F is equal to C minus P, 2 plus 2 minus 2 plus 1. 1. So area below FCG, area below FCG. This one. FCG, this area. Zinc plus MgZn2. Zinc plus MgZn2. Complete solid. So here. So both of them are the solids. Okay. So here you are getting now here area below FCG, Zn plus MgZn2, again univariant system will be getting. This area also univariant system. Area below HEI, this area. In this area also you are having magnesium, MgZn2, both of them are the solids. Okay, 2 chemicals. Okay, phases here, melt plus solid you are having. So 2 phases, so univariant system. At point C, this is all overall review, previously explained, but again I'm giving the review. So zinc plus MgZn2 and the melt containing. Here at point C, at point E, at point D, invariant system. Okay, so final conclusion I'm going to give you seeing the diagram. This above area only complete melt bivariant system. At point C, D, E, if you calculate with the reduced phase rule, you're getting invariant system. And at the curves and the areas, this curve and this area, this curve and this area, again this curve and this area, again this curve and this area, this curve, this area and this area, all the areas you're having invariant system. So totally below this curve invariant system, above this curve B, C, D, E, F, you're getting bivariant system. Points invariant system. Okay, bivariant at points invariant, and below, that is areas and the curves, you're getting univariant system. Okay, I hope you have understood clearly. C, D, E invariant system you're getting, melt bivariant system you're getting, and at the areas and the curves below B, C, D, E, A, you are getting univariant system. So this is about the congruent melting system. Congruent melting system, 2 component system we have explained. Next class, in incongruent melting point system will